Okay, it's been a few days since I put the epoxy on, and it's hardened up quite nicely. And what I'm doing now is just scrubbing it with warm water and soap to get rid of the amine blush. And amine blush is this thing that forms on the surface of cured epoxy, and it prevents subsequent layers of epoxy from bonding correctly. So the idea is just to wash it off. Now, before I lay down the fiberglass cloth, I want to make sure it's completely dry. So I'm just going to run my heat gun lightly over the surface here. So I've already cut some fiberglass cloth here and trimmed off the frayed edges. I found the hardest part about laying down fiberglass cloth over epoxy is air bubbles want to form underneath it. So I've discovered that if I put the epoxy down first, and I'm just going to brush it on like I did before, and then I'm going to let it sit for a while until it starts to get tacky. And then I'm going to lay the fiberglass cloth down and push it in, and that tends to stop air bubbles from forming. The air bubbles tend to come up if there's too much epoxy underneath it. So it's just going to be a very light skim coat of epoxy. I'm going to let it set up just slightly, and then I'm going to press the fiberglass cloth into place. Okay, so what I'm going to let that do is sit just as it is for about 20 minutes or so, and then see how tacky it's getting. I want to make sure that I get the fiberglass cloth on before it sets up, but at some point it will start to get tacky, and then that's when I'm going to start to press the cloth down into the resin. Okay, I'm back again. So things are starting to tighten up a little bit. Like I said, I want to make sure that I don't go beyond that threshold. So I'm going to start throwing this cloth down. I'm just going to press it into place. I'm not worried too much about being exact because all I want to do is reinforce the floor. So I'm going to have some bits hanging around here along the stringers. I'm not going to worry about that. That will sand off quite nicely. So I'm going to start laying this down and see how things work. Okay, that's as good as it's going to get for now. I'm not too worried about epoxy not saturating these lighter parts of the fiberglass cloth because I'm going to put another coat over it. But what I'm doing right now is I'm just using a skim layer of epoxy to fasten the cloth, to make the cloth sticky. And then once this sets up and hardens up, I will trim away the excess fiberglass cloth and then lay down, paint down another layer of epoxy. So I will see you when this hardens up for the next install.